The Canadian housing market, it's not recovering. You are being lied to. If you are a Canadian who feels like home ownership is getting further away no matter how hard you work, you need to watch this video. Because the biggest scam in Canada right now, it's not inflation, it's not the interest rate, it's the idea that the housing market is recovering. But recovering for who? Certainly not for the young families being priced out. For sure, not for the first home buyers watching their dream of owning a home disappearing. Not for the people working harder than ever and still falling behind. Yet every week, you are told the same story. The market is back. The worst is over. Confidence is returning. I personally hear that all day long. But here's what should make you angry. The people who are telling you these stories often benefit. They benefit when you believe in these stories, because when people have confidence in the market, that would create transactions and movement in the market. Meanwhile, when people fear entering the market, that would stop and halt movement in the market. And while Canadians struggle with affordability, debts, and uncertainty, we are being fed a narrative that everything is getting better. But it isn't. The Canadian housing market has not recovered, not even close. See, the official data is starting to confirm what a lot of people don't want to accept yet. Canada's economy has basically slipped into a technical recession in early 2026. It's not a dramatic collapse, but it is a clear signal that the growth has stalled. And what's driving it is not just one thing, it's everything slowing at once. Trade and export are weakening, especially industries tied to the US like auto and steel. Business investment is pulling back because companies don't trust what comes next with tariff and policy uncertainty. Housing is no longer supporting the economy. It's actually dragging it down, with weak sales and falling construction activity feeding directly into the GDP weakness. Even government spending has been uneven, adding more volatility to already weak numbers. The only real thing holding the Canadian economy up right now is the consumer. People are still spending, sometimes even dipping into their savings. But even that is starting to look fragile because of the energy prices and everyday cost of living rise. When we zoom out, the picture is simple. This isn't a strong economy waiting to boom. It's an economy being held together by uneven spending, while the core engine of the Canadian economy, like the business, housing, and trades, are still slowing at the same time. So, when we put all that together, housing slowing down, business pulling back, trade uncertainty, and consumer base that basically carrying the entire Canadian economy right now, we are not looking at a healthy recovery. As simple as that. We are looking at a system that unstable but is still functioning. Because for the market to actually recover in any real way, a few structural things have to happen, have to change first. And right now, none of them are fully in place. In this video, I will walk you through exactly what has to happen in order for the market to recover. By the way, I'm Ilham Ibrahim, a real estate agent here in the GTA. I help buyers and sellers make clear, informed decisions in a fast-changing market. So my work is centered on providing honest guidance and practical strategies so clients can move with confidence and transparency. Right. The first problem is the inventory problem. The biggest lie in Canadian real estate right now is that low sales automatically mean stability. Well, they don't. What we are actually seeing is thousands of homeowners refusing to accept what their home may truly be worth today. So instead of selling, they are waiting. Instead of reducing their listing price, they are holding it. Instead of facing the market, they are hoping that the market comes back and saves them. That's not recovery. To me, that's just delayed price discovery. See, the market cannot recover while the sellers and buyers are living in completely different realities. So until inventory gets absorbed and stay low for a sustained period of time, sorry to say that, but prices will remain vulnerable. But if inventory start rising again, the next drop could happen faster than what people think. The second problem is nobody trusts interest rate anymore. People keep asking, when interest rates come down, will the market explode? Maybe it will, but that's not the real issue. The real issue is trust. Over the past few years, Canadians have gone from ultra low interest rate to rapid increases and ongoing uncertainty. People no longer believe what they hear. Every rate announcement creates hesitation. Every economic headlines creates confusion. And uncertainty is killing the market. Not the interest rates are killing the market. It's the uncertainty. People don't make $1 million decision when they feel blindfolded. The ugly truth is right now, many Canadians do feel that. The third problem is the investor dream is falling apart. Let's talk about that one. This one makes a lot of people uncomfortable. For years, Canadians were sold a simple idea. Buy real estate. Wait a few years, then you will get rich. The property pays for itself. Prices always go up. We all heard that, right? Now we are discovering what happens when appreciation disappears. Suddenly, investors found themselves are being forced to ask questions they haven't had to ask it before. Investors are asking themselves, does this property actually make money? Does this rent cover the cost? How long can I absorb losses? For many investors, the answer is not pretty, simply because the math does not work. And when the math does not work, the investor's demand disappears, period. That's one reason parts of the condo market continues to struggle. The people who once bought aggressively are sitting on the sideline right now, or maybe worse, they are exiting the market. The fourth problem, a massive financial hangover, is still coming. Thousands of Canadians bought pre-construction properties based on assumptions that no longer exist. They assume cheap money would last forever. They assume value would keep rising. They assume someone else would eventually pay more. Now, many of those assumptions have been shattered. Some owners are closing on properties worth less than what they agreed to pay. Others are carrying monthly losses. Others are hoping that the market bail them out. We will see some will survive, but some won't. But this financial hangover has not fully played out yet. And until it does, there's still pressure building under the surface of the market. Pressure most people don't even see it. Problem number 5 is the government experiment is not finished. Canadians have spent years watching governments introduce policy after policy after policy. The taxes policy, the restriction policies, the incentives policies, the foreign buyer bans policies, the development program policies, the housing announcement. I can go on and on and on. The question is not whether policies were introduced. The question becomes whether they worked. Did these policies actually work? Because if these policies don't solve the affordability issue, if these policies don't solve the oversupply issue, if these don't restore people confidence in the market, then all these policies did, in my opinion, is just delayed the reality. Some policies that have been limiting demand are coming up on key turning points. So when those rules shift, I believe we will quickly see whether demand was actually gone or just waiting on the sideline. But either way, I do believe more volatility is likely ahead. Problem number 6 is Canadians are losing faith in the future. This is the biggest problem of all. Forget the interest rate, forget the inventory, forget the condos, forget the investors. The real issue is people confidence in the market. For decades, buying a home felt like a safe bet. We all kind of knew that if we work hard, then buy a property, we can build wealth inside the property. That belief became part of the Canadian identity. But today's reality is so different. People are questioning everything. They are questioning affordability, they are questioning career stability, they are questioning whether technology and AI will reshape their industry. They are questioning whether the next generation will ever own a home. And that worries people. And when people stop believing that tomorrow will be better than today, simply they stop taking risk. And that changes everything. Housing is not just numbers on a chart or data in a report. It's how people feel about risk, money, and future all at once. Housing is psychology. How safe people feel about making one of the biggest decisions of their lives. Housing is belief, whether people still trust that buying a home makes sense in the long run. Housing is confidence, how willing people are to act, to commit, and to take long term debt without second guessing everything. And lately, people confidence has been badly damaged. So, what happens next? Here's my honest opinion. The next housing boom won't look anything like the last one. Let's be real. The easy money era is over. Done, done, done. The blind optimism era is over. The buy anything and win era is over. The next winner will be people who understand fundamentals like cash flow, location, supply, demand, patience. And the people who are still waiting for the market to magically return to 2021, they may spend years waiting a version of Canada that no longer exists. The question is not whether the market recovers. The question is, what if the market that comes back looks completely different from the old version? If you like this video, I highly appreciate if you subscribe to the channel, and thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.